My coworker replied inappropriately to my husband at a work event. Now I think I'm cheating on him.
Stop going to work events.
There was an after work event this week. Yeah, we need to stop that. A coworker was leaving for another job. We were going out for light food and drinks. I don't drink, by the way. I didn't give my husband details because he usually doesn't ask nor appear to care that I attended these occasional outings, which usually end at 6 or 7 p.m. By the way, this comes from Work Party Throwaway 77 on the r/OKstorytime subreddit. So here's kind of a text log to get an understanding of what happened. Husband, 6 p.m. You have that thing tonight, right? Need dinner after? Me. Should be out of there by 8 and fed. No worries about dinner. Times are estimates. Husband. Okay. Note the following. I didn't see until a train ride around 11 p.m. Husband at 9:30 p.m. Hey, baby. Everything okay? What's your status? Husband at 10:05 p.m. All good? Question mark. Husband at 10:30. Hey, give me a ping. I'm getting worried. Me at 10:33. Sent by an a-hole coworker. Hey, buddy, chill the F out. She's in really good hands, I can assure you. I left my phone at the table and the a-hole coworker took it upon his wasted self to send that text. Yep, my iPhone 4S is not password protected.
Wow, that's actually your fault.
Girl, update your phone.
Yeah, please.
You're worse than Riley.
Hey.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Though.
Thank you.
Yeah. I didn't see any of my husband's texts because of his notifications had been cleared when the a-hole coworker opened up the messages. I saw it as soon as I got on the train and texted him immediately. Me at 11:05. Sorry, that was not me. See you when I get home. No response from husband. When I get home, he is in bed. I give him a kiss on the cheek. He doesn't reciprocate. I ask him what's wrong, and he says he doesn't want to talk because he's afraid he'd say something he regrets. The next day, he was totally ghosting. He finally approaches me tonight and says that he felt extremely disrespected and is suspicious of my intention. Well, he said he wasn't keeping tabs on me, but making sure I was okay since most of these wrap up by mid-evening. I profusely apologized and tried to defuse. He wasn't at all receptive. He said he's not sure what to think. He had total trust in me, but thinks something nefarious might have been happening for this guy to have my phone and feel bold enough to send him that text. Him and I, back and forth, no improvement. He finally dropped a serious bomb. He says he doesn't know what to think. But he said if there's any hope of him believing this was, as I say, as actually happened, that I can't be, in his words, in the same effing room with that effer. No after work events. If there's a work meeting, he wants me to notify HR that there's a personal conflict. He's heated and said if I can't make these demands, then I can either look for another job or a new husband.
Oh, what?
Everything's happening so fast. I know he's overreacting, but he does have his reasons. I have beat out the a-hole coworker, told him off and told him that if he touched anything that belongs to me again, I'm going straight to the police.
Wow.
What my husband is demanding is not practical. I guess I'm asking if I should risk waiting this out for cooler heads to prevail or meet my husband's demands, or if there's something I can do otherwise. I am pretty sure he thinks something happened last night. I think if he was assured it's what I say it is, he'd move past it, but I can see from his perspective, it looks like crap. We have some relevant comments. However, I do think that this does seem suspicious. I think what OP is failing to do is failing to like way of communicating. like what's happening. So like she should have like at least texted her or called or some gave more context, because literally by and this could have just been by her own like lack of communication skills.
Yeah.
But literally reading that text, I was like, okay, well, this still reads as if like someone could have been cheating with her. It wasn't, obviously, but like it just reads really bad and still leaves them like sitting in limbo. So it's like, tell your partner as much as immediately as possible, right? Over communicate everything. From deleted. Wait, how did you not think to text your husband sooner? You were supposed to be out by 8 and the event did run much longer, which happens. But 1, why did you not think to send him a heads up message earlier? 2, how is your phone, regardless of passwords, more accessible to your coworker than you? That's a good point.
Oh, wow.
3, why would this coworker randomly decide to send this message to your husband knowing that he'd have to see you after the fact? 4, what the heck happened that made the event run that long? Well, another great question. Sorry if it seems paranoid, but this post seems like it might be an attempt at an alibi.
Dude, being called that.
Too many questions sprung up from it, and I'd love to see some responses, to which OP responds, why did you not think to send him a heads up message earlier? Quoting that, OP responds to that. This has pretty much been the main topic of our conversation today. I lost track for part of the night and didn't see the messages until I went to text him on the train. I effed up and assumed his easygo attitude about these things meant that he didn't need me to check in, so I didn't think to. And time just got away from me. Now I realize how stupid that was because until that text, I am sure he was legitimately worried and not thinking something was up. After that text, a different story. The event didn't run long. I usually leave around mid-evening because I don't drink and get bored. There's no alibi. I was at the pub the entire time. My phone was on the table. After probably checking my Facebook, I got distracted and moved tables to talk to some of my other work friends. I deleted, I believe the same user says, is there any kind of evidence to corroborate your side of the story? Something that shows your timeline of the events, when it let out, etc., etc. Past that, I think agreeing not to attend after work events for a while and taking reasonable steps to limit contact with the coworker is a fair agreement. It demonstrates your commitment to your partner and transparency in the relationship. It shows that you understand and respect his feelings, which understandable based on how the events went down, and presumably that commitment should quiet his worries and you can reestablish boundaries at that time. OP says, I think you're right. I have no problem seeing this guy ever again. If that means no after-work get-togethers, which rarely happen anyway, then fine by me. I can probably get my supervisor filled in and help limit my contact. Beyond that, there's not much I can do except to rebuild trust. And another top comment from Ben's Dream. Yeah, no. You didn't tell him the event's ending at 8, even roughly, then not get in contact until 3 hours later. I'd be fuming if my significant other did that to me. Amityville responds, I'd be fuming as well, just because I would be so worried. Your partner may have been really worried about you and is angry at you for making him feel that way. And there is an update. Different people have different expectations of stuff. Like, I think in many couples, like if someone goes to an event and it goes on longer and they come home by like, it happens. Different people on different like areas of the spectrum on if that would be worrying for them. But the important part is the partner's feelings. Getting into this update, I spoke to my boss first thing Wednesday morning and told him what happened. While he was not at the bar, he knew about the event. Later in the morning, he spoke to a coworker and didn't hear anything else that workday. I also told a friend at work what happened. She was there and can vouch for me at the bar. Without me asking, she decided to get a-hole coworker on a conference line and called my husband and had a-hole apologize for what he did.
Whoa.
W freaking coworker friend. Let's freaking
That's
go.
huge.
This coworker is the opposite of a-hole coworker.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what exactly was said and had no idea this call had been made until I got home later in the evening. My husband gave me a big hug when I arrived and told me about the call. He said that throughout the day, he had already come to the conclusion that it was a crap prank by Wasted A-hole. As someone touched on in the comments, the idea that someone I was cheating with would send that text was so absurd that it must have been a prank. He said the call was helpful, but warned me he laid into A-hole pretty good, telling him what turmoil he caused, and straight up told the guy, stay as far away from his wife as professionally possible. It's just a prank, bro! Or he would make sure his career is impacted. We talked for hours and he reinforced some expectations going forward. Simple stuff like giving him a heads up if I'm late. He will do the same, password protecting my phone, and generally keeping my guard around people in general. I think we are back to about 95% normal. This week was kind of a shock, and I think we're both a little fatigued from all the drama and plan to spend the entire weekend together. I'm at work, and there's no conflict. He's here, but no direct apology yet. But the day is young, and honestly, I don't care to have any contact with this guy in the future. We're talking a-hole coworker. Sorry, I didn't respond to more in the original thread, but it kind of turned into a crap show of picking apart my alibi. I agree. It did look odd that I didn't realize the time or didn't look at my phone for 3 hours as someone claimed. I did have an idea about the time. I did look at my phone during the evening, but didn't think to check in because during that time, I felt like I was always on my way out. I dropped my phone on the table at some point before the text came in and moved to the other table to chat with some coworkers and said goodbye. I got distracted, didn't get to my phone until the text had been sent. At 8 p.m., I know I should have checked in, but it skipped my mind. By the way, it should never skip your mind that we're live every single weekday at 3 p.m. PST. So you tap the profile, it can't skip your mind, you have to join. Thanks to those who voiced their opinions about not having a cell phone strapped to your body every minute of the day. I'm pretty notorious for putting it in my purse and missing half the calls I receive. That is such a good point. Also, I think the next time that we meet for drinks after work, I'm going to invite my husband. Also a great idea.
There we go.
He is very social and talkative and would get along with everyone. For sure.
That's so true. Yeah, dude, that's good. I'm glad that they were able to get their trust back and they're 95% normal.
Good. I think all's well that ends well. I think the husband, he didn't say this exactly, but I feel like he kind of realized he overreacted.
Yeah.
Because he on his own came to the conclusion, and it was great that once again, we had so many options to display the evidence. The coworker getting the a-hole coworker to call and apologize was a great way of doing that. Although could have just pulled a random person
Oh God.
and
No,
told him,
stop.
hey, this
No.
is what you do. This is what you say. This is my homegirl, so we got to make sure that we keep her in the safe.
And got like a fake person to apologize.
Yeah, just grabbed
Oh,
some coworkers, like,
dude.
hey, just like pretend to apologize and just, but that's it. That's it. I think also
That's
that ends well.
That is true. I
Feels
agree.
good.
Agree.